Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DLC Cafe, the gaming talk show where we encourage you to join us with your favorite hot beverage as we discuss the latest gaming news before we end off with something fun and sweet. I am your host, Ethan, also known as GameWiz, and I am joined by my two lovely co-hosts again, Eric, also known as King Levchuk.
What's good? What's good? How are we feeling this week?
Pretty good, pretty good. And Hunter, also known as Bean Credit.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey. All right, so yeah, how you boys doing tonight? How you boys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty relaxed day. We had first big club events. That was fun and exciting. I got some tea with me this week actually.
Oh, what kind of tea?
I got some blueberry tea. I'm a very fruit see if I can get out
Dude,
there.
blueberry tea is apex of teas, bro. It's not even close.
I've never had blueberry tea.
Dude, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good fruity tea.
Okay. I'm just rocking a little bit of orange pico today.
Ooh.
Just a little classic.
Yeah, can never go wrong.
Got the hot apple cider again, bro.
Oh, that hot.
You're gonna keep having it until I run out.
Hot apple cider sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie.
It's really good. Like I think I said it like on our last podcast, but like 3 weeks ago, I would have never had this, and now I'm like addicted.
You're addicted.
Now I'm addicted.
Gotta go and get some.
All right, yeah. Well, before we start off today, gentlemen, a question came into my mind before we started this podcast.
Ooh,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I sat there and I was thinking, right? So let's say, right, like somewhere in your house, right, a tap appears, right? Like a bar, like beer tap or whatever.
Okay.
Right. And from this tap, you can have an unlimited amount of any one beverage of your choosing. What beverage are you picking?
One beverage.
One beverage. It could be any beverage you want. Alcoholic, non-alcoholic, whatever you want.
It's a hard question. Honestly, probably iced tea. I feel like,
dude, that's what I'm
saying. I feel like it'd be iced tea.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like I really want to say beer, but you know how bad that would be for me. I have to really limit myself.
Yeah.
You know, but alcohol's expensive, so
True.
In that case, I'd be saving a lot of money.
Resale that?
Yeah, no, honestly.
Yeah, what's the resale value here?
What's the resale value on Hunter's Wall beer?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's gonna be beer, like what kind of beer are we talking though?
I don't have many options. Gluten free.
Oh yes, that's right.
True.
There's like 3 kinds in the city. I like one called Glutenberg. They have like a whole bunch of different kinds. They have a stout. It's like the only gluten-free stout you can possibly find. Big fan.
Nice.
Big fan.
Nice.
Try that.
Our chat here is shouting out Mitch. Mitch and his Dr. Pepper beer. His Dr. Pepper.
It's Dr. Pepper.
Not the Dr. Pepper.
Oh. The Dr. Pepper fountain. I feel like that would be dangerous.
Yeah. No, yeah, just honestly some good Nest tea, man. That's all I need in life. Just an unlimited amount of Nest tea. I went to the grocery store the other day and bought like the big like powder like container thing or whatever, right? Yeah, great investment.
I got a bunch of cans that I need to put in the fridge.
Yeah.
That's the one I need them issue.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, all right. Well, with that, gentlemen, let's get into it then. So, our first story we have today here is Valve has released the CAD files for its Steam Deck. So, looking at the official article they posted here for it, it reads, "Hello, good news for all the tinkerers, modders, accessory manufacturers, or folks who just want to 3D print a Steam Deck to see how it feels. Today we're making the CAD files for the external shell, in brackets, surface topology, of the Steam Deck available for download under a Creative Commons license. This includes an STP model, STL model, and drawings, in brackets DWG, for reference. You can find the files here. We're looking forward to seeing what the community creates." And so they have it on sale here for $5.70 Canadian, and I believe it's about $5 USD from what I remember here.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
like I don't really I can't really name you another company that's like done something like this, like for its like gaming devices,
Mhm.
right? Like I think it's pretty cool that they like have allowed people to do this, right?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of brings up the question of like, what are people gonna make, right? you know?
Yeah. And I think this is
It's a really
no, go ahead.
go ahead. I was just gonna say it's a really neat idea, just like you were saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't do that. Just even like looking through at some of the 3D prints that people have made and stuff. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think this is going to tie into a common theme of today of dunking on Sony. But I mean, you look that for a while, people were making custom. It's a common thing, make custom shells for the PlayStation and the like PS5 controllers.
Mhm.
And then Sony went, "Now we're just going to stop that."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
send out lawsuits. But this seems like Valve is very much like, go ahead and make all the custom stuff you want.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. And yeah, that's what I was gonna like bring up. Like if other companies were to release some sort of like CAD file like this, yeah, like one of my first thoughts was yeah, like the PS5 shells or even just like the controller shells, right? But as you just said, that all got shut down relatively quickly, right?
Yeah.
And then like imagine if you could print like Joy-Con shells or something like that, or
Yeah.
even Switch docks,
There's
right?
some people that do it and they're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they are expensive.
Yeah, of course, right? Of course, But yeah, like people could do like for Switch docks, I don't know, like make custom like fan ports or something like that, right? And just a whole bunch of other different add-ons, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really gonna. It could be like a make or break for how well it sells. I have my issues with how the Steam Deck's gonna perform.
Yeah.
I think battery life for the Steam Deck is a huge issue. Because
Yeah.
we talk about what this thing is. Ugh. 90
Yeah.
minutes, I think, for what was it? For Portal for something Devil May Cry 5?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
90 minutes?
90 minutes.
Oh god.
I know Witcher 3 was another big one they were showing off for Steam Deck and all that. But yeah, no, actually that I was gonna bring up, yeah, like what do you guys think of just the Steam Deck in general? Right? Like are we a fan of it? Like how do you think it's gonna perform?
I don't know. The one thing I don't love this button layout. It looks weird.
Yeah,
It looks weird. It looks, and I've heard that like it is comfortable. But it just looks odd.
Yeah,
It doesn't look that weird, does it? Oh, I guess with the like way up high,
Yeah.
the thumbsticks like way up. That does seem like it would feel kind of
And then of course you have the
And then
two
it's like-
trackpads there too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
and then it's like, how do you get your hands around that and support the
How do-
controller at
yeah.
the same
How do
time?
you do that?
Because it's gonna be
Right.
heavy. This
Yeah.
thing isn't gonna be super light.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
I haven't done like a ton of research about it, but I don't know. I think it'll go far, to be honest with you. Like, it's a similar layout to the Switch,
Mhm.
and the Switch is huge, right?
Yeah.
That's going anywhere anytime soon. And you're talking about Steam. Like, there's infinite content with that, right? I don't know. I don't think there's any way that it doesn't go far.
Yeah.
Even if they have to like switch a couple of like the layout options, fix a couple of those like minute details, I do think it'll go far. for sure.
Yeah, like I mean it's gonna be pretty awesome to have your entire Steam collection just like on the go
Yeah.
and like ready to be played. But again, like we were talking, like battery life is the main thing that like I want to know about, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll be waiting, I'll be like keeping an eye out on that when it like officially comes out and there's more like wide tests going on, right? And then performance too. That's the thing, right? Like I want to know like what kind of like FPS we're going to be getting on some of these games,
Yeah.
right? Like I have no doubt that like stuff like the older Valve titles, like Portal, and have like all that's gonna run fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we even just saw like last week at the Nintendo Direct, the Portal was running fine on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
no doubt that it'll run fine on the Steam Deck, right? But yeah, something like Devil May Cry 5, like, are you even going to be able to hit 60 frames on that?
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
so it's saying. This is what I'm saying. Devil May Cry lasted 87 minutes at 50% brightness on higher settings with VSync disabled and frame rate uncapped.
Mm.
Lowering the settings, enabling VSync, and capping the frame rate at 60 yielded about 2 hours of battery life. 2
Okay.
hours is still not
That's
a lot.
not bad.
It's not a lot.
It's not a
though.
lot, but it's much. I mean,
It's much better. But like,
It's
talk about
better.
a plane.
better.
And this is what the Switch got a lot of flack for. Talk about like you're looking at an average plane flight. If you're going across the country, is about 4 hours.
Yeah.
If it can't last
That's
you
true.
4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
not ideal.
What is the Switch battery life like generally?
The OLED so the new model has a battery life from about 4.5 to 9.
Okay.
Mhm.
But lower models have 2.5 to 6.5. I think I normally get like 3 to 4.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have like one of the, like, before they made the battery revision, and yeah, I can
Yeah.
get about like 3 to 4 typically,
Mhm.
right? Again, all depends on what you're playing too, right? Like the
True.
more intense of a game you're gonna play, right?
Mhm.
The more it's gonna suck the
Yeah.
battery from it quicker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, like with Steam titles, I think it's safe to say, like, just in general, the stuff that you're going to be running should be like more like bigger games
Mhm.
than a Nintendo Switch, just in general.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we'll have to see. I think like we can talk about as much as we want just by like looking at the model and stuff. But like
Mhm.
until, like you said, like we can actually see like how the battery life works, how the frames per second is, and all of that on like some of your favorite games on Steam on the actual device, like we won't know. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll
I
just have to
remember
wait
my
for
other
then, I guess.
my other issue with the Steam Deck now.
Mhm.
The base model at $400 only has 64 gigabytes of memory.
Yes, that is right.
Oh,
that is
that's
correct.
Tiny.
Yeah. Actually, here I have it up right here. I
Yeah.
have the like page or whatever. So yeah, so for 500, that's the base model, right? And you get 64 gigabytes of storage, which again is nothing, really. Like, I don't even know if that can hold. I guess that can hold Devil May Cry, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like, I want to say Witcher 3, right? Like that's pretty much the entire storage right there if you
Yeah.
were just to play Witcher 3, right? And then moving up from that, we have the $659 model, which is 256 gigabytes, and that's NVMe SSD in that one,
Yeah.
right? And then at $820, all Canadian prices, by the way, you get a 512 gigabyte storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey,
It is.
when you think about it, right? Like going by like,
Okay. So it does look like they do come with an micro SD card slot, thankfully.
okay, yeah.
But even
yeah.
still, it's like base. That's not a lot of storage space.
Yeah,
And
no.
I feel like that's a weird thing. It's like, I don't know how I feel about those. Like, I don't like storage space issues. They're annoying.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, but at least they, I mean, it would have been dumb for them to not have like external storage, right? Like expanding options, right? I think
Yeah,
that
they wouldn't do that.
yeah, no. So, but yeah, no, I mean, time will tell, right?
Yeah,
I'm
for
sure,
sure.
I'm sure no matter what, it's gonna do just fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Well, moving on from that, we have this new mysterious website from Capcom, otherwise known as the Capcom Countdown, right?
Yeah.
So Capcom has just put up this new website called the Capcom Countdown, right? and it's counting down currently to Monday, February 21st at 10 p.m. Pacific time, 6 a.m. General Mountain Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and 3 p.m. Japan Standard Time. So, and then yeah, what's it at currently right now? Let's see. Yeah, 4 days and 5 hours. That's what it's currently at right now. And so, speculation time, right? What could it possibly be, right? And so the current going theory right now for a lot of people is that it's going to be some sort of Resident Evil announcement. What would it be though? Who knows, right? I'm in the camp that it's probably going to be a Resident Evil announcement, just from even looking at like the font on the website, right? It very much looks like the Resident Evil font they've been using for like the remake games and just all the new current games, right? And so there's a lot of people hoping that it could be maybe the Resident Evil 4 remake announcement.
True.
There's that, and then more likely, I think it will probably be DLC for Resident Evil Village. More likely, I think that's the more likely answer. They did promise when they announced it that there would be more DLC for it coming out, right? So, with that being said, are you guys intrigued by this?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I'm looking at something. I'm looking at what IGN put out something. I just looked it up. It's the 35th anniversary of a different important series for Capcom. Street Fighter.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was gonna touch on that just with the Capcom Cup ending at that time too.
Yeah. And we haven't had a new Street Fighter game in a while.
That's true. It's true, but looking at the font, it's like really hard to say like that it could be anything else. Like that font is very specific.
It is very specific.
And it wouldn't have that font in my opinion. And then they like come out and they're like, yeah, it's Street Fighter. Like I don't like the whole esque of the entire site. If you've been to it, it has like this really like eerie kind of feeling. It's got like this almost like fog type stuff in the background. It kind of looks a little creepy, and the font is like very similar to, like you said, the Resident Evil stuff that's been coming out as of late. Like I think it's really really likely, but also with the Capcom Cup ending like around that time and Street Fighter being like the primary game in that, like it could also go that way. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it will go. I think Resident Evil is a very strong contention. It's just weird. Street Fighter 5's been out for so long. And we haven't got any news on 6.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly when it leaked or whatever, right? But I think it was like last year, Capcom's like so-called release schedule did end up leaking, and Street Fighter 6 was on there from what I believe. I couldn't tell you what the year was that they had
I just found
put on it. Oh yeah?
Okay, so it linked from the so it's Resident Evil Outrage was the first one, and that's Q4 of 2021.
Okay.
Clearly that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But that could be a COVID thing.
That's true.
And then we look at a game called Dragon's Dogma 2, which is Q2 of 2022. No, Q2 of 2022.
Okay. Okay.
Street Fighter 6 was Q3. Mega Man Match. It was listed Rockman, but Mega Man is the North American name. Also in Q3, the Resident Evil remake in Q4, and then Monster Hunter 6 would be Q2 of 23, and then more games from there.
Yeah. So you know,
it's possible.
But yeah, again, like we don't know right now, right? You know, we're gonna just have to wait until Monday at 1 a.m. for us, anyway. Right? Yeah. But
my money's on Resident Evil for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you guys: have you like ever played Resident Evil 4 at all before, or 8 for that matter?
I've not played a single Resident Evil game.
I
Oh,
haven't I haven't played them, but I actually really like watching them on Twitch and YouTube. I really like Resident Evil Village was like I don't know, it was like really interesting to follow along with the story. It's not my type of game to play, but like I watched the whole thing
yeah,
online.
yeah, yeah. Resident Evil 4 was awesome. That was like that was the second Resident Evil game I ever played. I played Resident Evil 2 first on the PS1 back in the day, and then funny enough, I played 4 on the Wii, and yeah, no lie though, like that's actually one of the more fun ways to play it. Like the aiming is actually a lot of fun.
Is it really?
And
Yeah.
it's really fun in that game. Like I mean, and you can be super precise with it, right? So like bullet management is pretty easy in that version. Yeah. And then yeah, I played Village as well. Absolutely loved it. I beat it 5 times in a row.
Damn.
Almost got the platinum trophy for it, but I have to get back to that at some point, you know. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really, you know, it would be cool to see 4 get announced, right? But I still think it's probably another year off, I would say. And I don't know, it seems like 4 remake is going to be a big deal when that gets announced, right? Like people have been asking for this forever, right? You could argue that it's the best one, right? You know, to a lot of people it is, right? Like 4 and 2, right? So I think that they might save this for like a bigger event, right?
Like
You
an
know?
E3.
Yeah, like an E3 or just something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It does
Let's,
feel like a weird time.
Let's talk about what the countdown actually is leading up to, and it is 100% Street Fighter NFTs.
Oh my god. Can
For
you
real.
imagine if it was an NFT announcement?
Could you imagine if they had the whole countdown and then that's what they released?
Street Fighter NFTs. My god. Oh, it would be so funny.
Oh, that
It would be so funny.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If we're gonna talk about NFTs here, real quick, what do you guys think about NFTs?
What have we started?
The worst. I hate them. Absolutely hate them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't really know much about it, and I don't really care to learn much about it.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I've seen like bits and pieces, and I'm like, I just don't like. I don't know. Not super interested.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it, you know. Right? Like it just I don't get it, really. Like that's the main thing, right? You know, you have a receipt to say you own something but you don't own it, right?
Yeah.
You know, but what I do think is interesting about NFTs is the technology behind it, though, in the sense that we were talking about this in my entrepreneurship class the other day. We're talking about how the underlying technology could be used for verifying purchases, like in the future, right? You know, like it would guarantee that you own this, right? Like no matter what, right? You know, there would be no like questioning about it. There'd be no like having to worry about finding the right document. You could just go into the blockchain and be like, yeah, this person owns it, like 100%, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I can't remember specifically how we were talking about it, but like for like court cases and stuff like that, and looking up documents and stuff like that, it'd be really helpful there, right? So just imagine you know, buying your next house as an NFT.
Oh my god. Oh, it'd be wild.
The deed to your house is an NFT.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason I don't love NFTs is just all the things that people try to do to make NFTs. There was stuff with the musician community a while ago where people were trying to sell NFTs to songs, and it's like, you don't own this.
Mm-hmm.
NFTs to YouTube channels and their YouTube icons, like, no. You can't sell this. This isn't yours. And just they tried stealing from the artist community. It's just
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I definitely see, like, I get like there's opportunity to make money here. Like, if you're an
Yeah.
artist, right, who makes art, right? But I don't know. Some things are just kind of a little more out there when it comes to NFTs. I know Troy Baker caught a lot of flack for wanting to do NFTs for his voice, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure no, I think he's canceled that. He said he's not going to do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I mean, like, I don't know, like, as much as I don't like it, it seems like that's kind of going to be, it sounds like it's going to be here to stay though, right?
Yeah.
With,
I mean, hopefully not, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, well, you got websites like Twitter now, right? Where you
God,
can make
I know.
you can make an NFT your profile picture, if you see
Yeah.
somebody with that, I think it's like a hexagonal profile pic, then it means it's an NFT.
Yo, who's about to make the DLC Cafe NFT?
It would be worth a whole 3 cents.
Yes. It will be worth 3 cents now, but just think about it in a few years.
Yeah.
That's
It'll
cash
only
money.
appreciate. It'll only appreciate.
Once we're big on all the chains, that's when you know. That's when
Mhm.
we're going big.
For sure. Oh. Well, boys, I don't know if you heard, but BioShock is getting a movie.
Yeah. BioShock.
That
I think
caught me
everything is
off
getting
guard.
a movie.
That caught me so off guard when I saw
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't
the other
expecting that.
day. Yeah, looking at the tweet here from Netflix Geeked, we all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us. Netflix plus BioShock. Would you kindly stay tuned?
Will I kindly stay tuned? That's a real question.
Hey,
Will we?
you better stay tuned.
We'll better stay
He said,
tuned.
would you kindly? Right?
True, he did. He did ask nicely.
If it's kindly, then we'll stay tuned.
Then of course.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of BioShock. Like, BioShock was definitely one of the series that, like, started to help mold, like, what I liked in a video game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just everything from starting to appreciate just like world design and everything. Like, the world design in BioShock is amazing. Like,
It is amazing.
I love just like the blend of like 50s and 60s, right? And just kind of it's kind of like, even just like a character, like, human study too, right? Just to see like what happens when you put all of these people in a like society where you can do anything basically, right?
Yeah.
And then just I love the gameplay of it too, like the blend of like an FPS and then like very light RPG elements, right? Like nothing too crazy, like worrying about your lock picking skill or anything like that, right? But just enough to like build your character out, upgrade a few weapons, right?
I think there's a lot of genius in the story,
Mhm.
honestly, which is why, although I didn't expect the announcement, I'm like really excited for it.
Mhm.
And Netflix is obviously really well renowned. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I have high standards too, honestly.
Yeah. I hope.
It's
High expectations.
Yeah. Sorry, what were we gonna say, Eric?
we've gotten so many video game adaptations over the years. It's sort of the thing of like maybe they finally just cracked open the vault.
Yeah,
And it's finally time.
and I think like a big thing too is that we're starting to get to the point where they're being taken seriously now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't have to tell you boys how many bad video game adaptations we've gotten for like movies and stuff like that. Like, here, like I wrote a few down here, but just like prime classic example, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Right? Like,
I don't know. That was a pretty good one.
Like there's that. There's the live action Doom movie with The Rock, right?
Oh, that was
Oh,
bad.
You
I
know.
forgot that was a movie.
That was bad.
Yeah, you're right. And
Go
then-
back to forgetting about that.
Yeah,
Actually.
and then
the
like
Street Fighter movie, The Legend of Chun-Li.
yeah, there's the Hitman movie, the Silent Hill movie, you know, right? And
Mortal
like
Kombat.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, yeah. There's a
That was
Prince of
bad.
Persia movie. I completely forgot there was a
Yeah, there
Prince of Persia
was.
movie.
Dude, oh, I remember watching that as a kid.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Max
right.
Payne.
Yeah, Max Payne.
There was
right?
Hitman movies in 2007.
Jeez.
Yeah, so you know, I mean, well, even like the original like Tomb Raider movies too with Angelina Jolie.
Those were bad.
Yeah,
right?
we had
Weren't the Resident Evil movies like really bad too?
yeah Resident Evil
Yeah,
Apocalypse.
you know, like
Those were
they
bad.
didn't even like really follow any of the stuff from Resident Evil. I
Yeah,
mean, there
it
was
just felt, like,
you know there was
random.
elements, right? But yeah, you know,
Oh right, the
I don't know how they made so
Warcraft
many of those.
movie.
How many did they make?
they've
lot.
made a lot of live action. I
Evil.
want to say at least
Uh,
5 or 6, truthfully.
One got released this
One-
year.
Yeah.
Yes.
1, 2,
Welcome to
3, 4,
Raccoon
5,
City.
6.
Yes, Welcome to Raccoon. I still want to
Wow.
watch that just out of you know curiosity,
Yeah.
right? But I will
There's
say the
so many.
animated Resident Evil movies are pretty good though. The animated
Animated
ones
is a
are
whole
pretty
other
good.
thing.
Yeah.
I think in general, animated depictions of video game anything is just better. I mean,
Yeah.
a prime example from this year's Arcane.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Even people who don't know about League of Legends as a world
Mhm.
or even play the game were coming
Oh,
away
that's
from
good.
that. And they thought it was just really, really good. Like the writing was just there, right?
Yeah.
And the art style
Yeah.
was really cool.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, and like I was saying, like we're starting to see video games, movies, and stuff being taken seriously, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and yeah, so like you said, yeah, like Arcane, right? Even the Castlevania anime on Netflix was
Oh,
awesome.
it's
Castlevania
good.
was, yeah,
I
really cool.
loved that. There,
Yeah.
that was pretty dope. You know, now we're getting a Last of Us TV series too.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
still yet to come out, so you know, can't say if it's gonna be good or bad just yet, right?
Yeah.
We're getting the Halo
Witcher.
TV series. Witcher,
Halo
yes,
show.
The
Witcher.
Witcher's very good. I know it's like based on the books, but like let's be real, people know it from the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, like a huge world that they can go off of, and
Mhm.
I love that show.
Mhm,
Season 1 was good, and season 2 was like impeccable.
Mhm.
It just like, yeah, blew me out of the water. It was really good.
yeah, yeah. So and then also
I
following along
spilled
just
tea on
with-
myself. I gotta address that. There.
I was gonna say it before the podcast started. I was like, how long before one of us spills our drink?
It's not hot
on
anymore,
ourselves?
but like, yeah, I spilled tea
0
on
days
myself.
since tea has been spilled on anyone.
It's part of the cafe brand, bro.
May-
just living it.
Maybe we're gonna have to add a counter somewhere.
It's got a counter at the
on
bottom
here.
there.
Yeah, at the bottom there. Yeah.
Okay, that's number one. That's number one.
Mhm,
Yeah,
Someone
that's
write
number
that
one.
down.
That's-
Write that down.
It's the first tea spill.
mhm.
I'm taking notes.
Okay.
Eric 1, Ethan Hunter 0.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
yeah,
a lot. I spill a lot of tea, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many. We have the Mario movie coming up. That's a meme.
Oh,
The Mario
my,
movie is a meme.
oh my god, dude! When they showed the cast for
Oh,
that,
God.
I died laughing.
Everyone
honestly.
did. I didn't think it was real.
Yeah, honestly, like
You're telling me Chris Pratt is Mario? Oh,
Wait,
you're telling me Seth Rogen
wait,
is
I
Donkey
totally
Kong?
forgot about that.
yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah. We got Jack
That sounds
Black
like a joke.
as
Oh
Bowser.
yeah, Jack Black is Bowser.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
I need
my
to bring up
god.
the full cast because it's.
Yeah.
You got Charlie Day as Luigi,
Yeah. Oh, Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong,
Donkey
right?
Kong.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You got Anna Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach.
hmm
Keegan-Michael Key is Toad.
Yeah, dude.
Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong. Someone put this cast together. Someone went,
Yeah.
this is who we need for the Mario movie.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I think it's gonna be fun just because the cast is that absurd.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you
a
have
really
to
good
pick a cast that absurd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is an insanely good comedic cast. I don't think you can do
Mhm.
much better.
Yeah. You know.
It's just like when I think of like Chris Pratt's voice,
As Mario.
Yeah.
just like it feels like off. Something's off about it. You know.
Mhm.
Something just don't make sense there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Sonic movie?
I haven't yet. I need to.
I have not, but I've heard pretty good things about it, though.
Really?
From what
Yeah, I
I've
haven't watched it either.
I've heard it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's not like amazing, but
reviews
it's
so
like
far.
it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
mean,
now
you
we're
know,
getting
like,
Sonic 2, and then also
Oh,
Sonic
yes.
3, and also
Yeah.
Knuckles is getting his own show. Because why the fuck not? It's Idris Elba.
It's got a 63 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
okay.
bad.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
We take those. We
We
take
take
those.
those. We take those.
I don't know. I like seeing Jim Carrey in any comedic role. You know.
Yeah.
Right?
Jim Carrey's
You know.
so
You know.
good.
Canadian treasure. Right.
Canadian treasure.
You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you think of his role in that movie, it just like fits so well.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Exactly.
In my opinion, like it's just like it makes sense.
Absolutely. It's so weird. It's so weird. The Mario movie just gives me, what have we done here?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like. I don't know. I feel like that movie might be kind of fun to enjoy after having a few drinks. You know.
Probably.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Go a little.
Oh, yeah.
Go into the theater a little sauced. You know. Right.
Just
I
a
feel
little
like
sauce.
you'll be having a grand old time, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be like the movie of your life, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh jeez. Oh
So
jeez.
wild.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, the BioShock movie turns out pretty good, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
2K themselves also responded to the announcement, and they said, "Oh, you know, like we're pretty excited." And they also dropped a link to what is it again? What's the developer here? Give me 1 second. Yes, so they dropped a link to roles for Cloud Chamber, who are developing the new BioShock game as well. You know, they were like, "Oh, you know, we're still looking for people." So, you know, I'm pretty excited for whenever the new BioShock comes out. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, maybe mid, like just kind of using the console life cycle as like a time period to gauge, maybe mid console life cycle, maybe like 2023, 2024, probably. I would wager.
I think that's fair.
I mean, it's been a while since
Yeah.
we've had new BioShock content, right?
Mhm.
Like Infinite came out in 2013,
Wow.
if I remember. Yeah, and
Wild.
I can't remember.
yeah.
I
March
can't
25th,
remember.
2013.
Yeah, I can't remember when. When did Burial at Sea Part 2 come out? Because that was the final DLC for that, and that kind of like tied a nice little
Episode
knot
1.
onto the series.
Yeah, give me a second. I just gotta find the right one. Episode
Yeah.
2. Episode 2 came out in March 25th, 2014. So a full year.
Yeah, so it's been 8 years,
Man.
or like as of right now, since we've had anything like new.
Yeah,
for
I really need to
BioShock.
play
Jeez.
Bioshock.
Yes, yes.
It's in
They're
my
good
library. I
games.
just never play.
They're really fun.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah.
many things in my library I need to play.
Oh man, you're preaching to the choir, man. Let me tell you, I know that feeling all too well. Yeah, yeah. Well, now we have our big topic for today, gentlemen. Video
Ooh.
game censorship.
Yeah.
So, I know we were talking about this earlier, right? But you know, this has all kind of come about because of Martha is Dead, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So for those who don't know, the developer for Martha is Dead put out an official statement on their Twitter here. And so this is how it reads. So, Martha is Dead PlayStation update. Martha is Dead is a narrative adventure recommended for adult audiences only, with some play consisting of potentially discomforting scenes and themes that may distress some players. Both Wire Productions and LKA have always been open and honest about Martha is Dead content, with the sensitive depictions in play consistently communicated to the media since the game was announced in 2019. This content is also flagged clearly and repeatedly within the game itself before play begins. It is with regret that we have to had modified the experience on the PS5 and PS4 versions, with some elements no longer playable. Over 4 years of passion and hard work, developer LKA now requires extra time to make these unplanned changes. Martha is Dead, as a result, will still launch digitally on both PS5 and PS4 on Thursday, February 24th, 2022, but the physical retail will be delayed to a yet to be disclosed date, although we anticipate this to only be a small number of weeks. Our physical edition will still contain the bonus content of a double-sided poster, digital tarot cards, and Martha's Dead digital EP. We will update players with the date we ship this edition as soon as we have the information. The PC and Xbox versions of Martha's Dead are both unaffected by these developments and will launch with the full unedited gameplay as planned. We look forward to players experiencing the work of LKA on Thursday, February 24th, 2022. So, right?
Yeah.
That's insane, you know.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. And just before we go on a little further, the scene that is like causing all of this is one where the player is cutting the face of their dead sister off. And it's not just the fact that it's not a cutscene. It's an actual mini game where you are forced to do it yourself, right?
Yeah, that's a little wild.
Yeah, you know.
It's a little excessive.
It's a little excessive.
It's a
you know.
little excessive, you know,
Mhm.
right?
Just a tad.
Yeah, you know.
But it is a horror game, right?
It is a horror game.
So it's one of those things where it's like sometimes like horror and gore don't have to be like in the same thing, but oftentimes they are.
Mhm.
So sometimes players who really like the horror genre aren't necessarily in love with like the gore genre, right? So when people are like, "Oh, there's this really cool horror game coming out," oh, like it's full of gore, like really really extensive gore. Like, yeah, I can see why they complain.
Yeah, and like because there's all different, you know, there's psychological horror, there's body horror, right? There's so many different types, right?
Right.
You know, and you know, everyone has their own preferences, right?
Yeah.
But I think like the question I want to ask you guys, right? Like, what do you guys think of like censorship in general, right? Like,
I think especially with this case, the interesting thing is clearly Microsoft and the ESRB rating put it through. Microsoft and Steam were okay with it.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's a lot, but it's like, okay, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into here.
Well, yeah, and by the statement, you know, of the company that we just read out, like they were very clear from the start, what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So for them to have like, you know, 3-4 years of development, and then they release it, people get like little pieces of it, and then now they're like really really upset about it. You gotta feel for the company a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, you know.
You can basically hear it in the statement we read. Like they're pretty upset about having to go back and change some of that, and they should be, like, rightfully so.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
know,
for
like
sure.
if ESRB clears it, ESRB cleared it, right?
Right.
You know, I don't think there should be any like, you know, problem if that's the case, right?
No.
You know, and then like I think there's some talk of, you know, saying, oh, maybe they should change it to adults only rating, right? You know, but the problem with that is most companies won't sell that on their storefront, you know.
No.
Like I know, like, yeah, Sony doesn't allow it, Nintendo doesn't allow it, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft themselves don't allow it, right? You know, I don't know. I think this is unwanted, like unneeded censorship, truthfully.
Yeah,
right?
I totally agree.
You know,
And there
I'm
have been some. No.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a firm believer that like, unless something is like just like clear like hate speech or like, you know, there to like just, you know, defame people and whatnot, like I don't know, I believe like, you know, things shouldn't be censored, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, then you're kind of blocking people from having these conversations and like, you know, this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah. I think from what I read, there's definitely some double standard with some games. This is obviously Martha's Dead is from a smaller studio, but you had Last of Us 2, which had I haven't played Last of Us 2, but from what I've heard, some pretty messed up scenes.
Oh yeah, I've played it personally, so I'll talk about it here a little bit. Yeah, like you see, spoilers, I guess, right? But you see Joel get beat up with a golf club. you know,
Yeah.
like you see a
Mm.
golf club just get drived right into his head, right? If you fail like quick time events with like the clickers, you see like pieces of your neck getting ripped out, right?
Delicious.
Yeah, people getting
It's pretty gruesome.
people getting shot in the back of the head and then it coming out the front, right? You
Mm.
know, and then yeah, you're totally right. You know, like that's gonna get cleared and be fine, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
But you know, I guess cutting your own sister's face off it goes a little.
It's just like
A little too far.
even when you like say it out loud, like it, like I almost like my body like, ugh,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like gross. I think it's just like unnecessary. Like I don't like. Could you make the game without that scene?
Maybe. Who
Or-
knows? It depends
or
what.
maybe-
Like I haven't played the
maybe-
game.
Like even if I've seen the scene and it's like it's gross. Like I don't know. I think if I came across that in the game and there was like a skip option, I'd skip. I think the fact that you have to play it out and
Mhm.
it isn't just a cutscene differentiates it from a lot of other games. Like what other games are you like? You know,
Cutting
like failing
faces
quick
off.
time. You're playing, but
Mhm.
it's like a cinematic, right? If you fail the quick time, you're not clicking buttons anymore. You're just watching.
Yeah.
This you're like I don't know. I feel like it adds more of like a personal connection when you're like actually playing it. Like it's a mini game that you're like
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different in that way. And with that in mind, I would say like yeah, I think that the censorship in this game is absolutely valid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a thing where like they're not censoring it across the board.
Yeah, that's
Right, and
that's
that's
like
so weird.
my like
And that does make it weird. It makes
Mhm.
it weird. But honestly, I'd say in that case, like everyone should have censored it. But obviously, it's up to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, like I said, I really don't have a problem with it.
Mm.
You know, right? Like, I believe in like, you know, freedom of creativity or whatever, right? You
Mhm.
know, and like I was saying earlier, like, I think you should be able to make whatever you want as long as you're not out here to like, you know, bully people and like, you know, say like just god awful things, right?
Yeah.
You know, but like,
Mhm.
you know, some people like that though. Some people like to feel uncomfortable though.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Or- right?
And this differentiates from other games, like I was talking about, which makes it a little bit worse in like the censorship
Mhm.
department, but it also makes it like really cool in the originality department. Like you were talking about that creativity, like you don't see that a lot in other games. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's cool, but it's like it's really over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool, but has it gone too far? It's
Yeah.
always the
But
question.
exactly. Yeah.
You know what though? Like, I've seen like so many like other like, I don't know. I can't even remember what the name of this movie is. It's been so long. And it's like a B movie and a half, right? But it was something about like Nazis somehow surviving in some Antarctic area or whatever,
Oh,
right?
God.
And there's like
It's a
and there's
great
like
setup.
yeah, and there's like a scene where the guy like he cuts like this Nazi scientist cuts like this one guy's forehead on a table and just like rips his skin off and puts it on a new dude or whatever,
Oh,
right?
gross.
You know,
All right.
so
then.
like so like
Gross.
I don't know, you know, it's just kind of like stuff like this has happened before in other media,
Yeah.
It has,
right?
yeah.
You know, and you think about like whenever there's been like a cult in like in media or whatever, right? There's people getting their hearts cut out and shit like that,
you know,
right?
Mhm.
classic
You,
Tuesday.
you know, it's like this isn't stuff that's never happened before, right?
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, it's just kind of like, you know, I don't see the point in censoring it, you know,
Mm.
right?
Yeah,
No.
I think censorships in general. I would agree with you guys.
Mhm.
But just like in this case, I just felt like really uncomfortable with it.
Y-
I don't play a lot of horror games too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, you know, like this isn't the most like extreme case of censorship though,
No.
you know, right? I mean, if we want to talk about like brutal stuff kind of like being censored before, right? Have you guys ever heard of the game Manhunt at all?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I have.
Okay, so this is from Rockstar, right? And
Okay.
and in both games, right? You play as like a killer basically, or like, you know, someone who's bad, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
In like the first game, right? you play as a dude who's like this convict who's on death row or whatever, right? And then you basically get saved and then get put into this, like, I forget what the guy's name is, but he's basically like a director, right? And he basically puts you in a snuff film where you then have to go around and like kill people, right? And then what like differentiated it was like, so depending on what weapon you had, right? If you sneak up behind somebody, right, there's like these like arrows that like, you know, kind of lock in and out of whoever you're targeting, right?
Yeah.
And then the longer you hold it down, the more brutal like the kills get or whatever, right? And so first game I don't think had too much censoring going on with it, but the second game actually like was a big controversy at the time, because that when it originally got rated, it got rated adults only, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So that had to be heavily censored. They had to change camera angles, they had to cut scenes out, you know, right? They had to put like grainy filters over things so things weren't as detailed, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you could still buy the uncensored version on PC at some point, you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and then you know, then there was even a lot of concern with like the game came out on the Wii, right?
Oh my god.
And
it did?
yeah, and you know, motion controls.
Oh my
right?
god.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so you know, that's just one of the ones that I always kind of remember in my mind as being like a big deal when it came to censorship.
That's a yikes.
Yeah.
That is a yikes.
That's a yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you even have like China is really big on censorship. Like
Yeah, they are.
I know when Steam launched in China, right? I think only 53 games got approved in that. Like, yeah, just because everything else, like, there was a problem with it that they didn't like, you know? I mean, we all know anything with Tibet, right? In it, you know, right? Like, you know, not a big fan of, right?
No.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So, and then, like, I mean, they've even started, like, I don't know if you could, like, call this censorship in, like, the traditional way, but they're limiting how much, like, teens can play games.
Yeah,
now,
I saw that.
right?
Are
Like,
they?
yeah, they can only play,
Yeah.
I think, 3 hours a week, right? I think it's 3 hours
Oh my
a week.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
something
do that in a
insane.
day.
And only
Yeah.
in specific times, too.
Mm.
Yeah. So, you know, not like the most traditional form of censorship, right? I
No.
guess you could say, right? But still a form of censorship.
Yeah, let's make that
it's
two.
under the umbrella. It's under the umbrella for sure.
Yeah,
Let's make
yeah.
that two.
Yeah.
I spilled tea on myself again.
No.
Oh,
no.
gosh. Dude, twice in one podcast.
Yeah.
Third
But yeah,
time's the charm.
China's very hard on censorship, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because they create there's a lot of good players that come from China,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
this, and you have companies like Tencent. Tencent owns how much?
They
Like
own
everything?
A lot. They own
Mhm.
a lot. Yeah.
It's just, it seems so weird and so backwards. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any like other examples you guys like thought of at all?
Yeah.
Or...
On the like China thing, we'll just go right off of that because we're gonna talk about League of Legends. Surprise.
Game changer.
Game changer. I know. You didn't see that one coming, did you? There are a lot of characters in League of Legends with like kind of like skull implications, like skeleton implications. Not that like that's exactly how they look, but it's like similar. So China has a lot of problems with characters like Brand, Thresh, that sort of thing. So they censor all of that, but the one that I really want to talk about from League of Legends is the tragedy that people talked about for like 3 years. And it was it's very simplistic, coming off of like the whole Martha is dead thing, but they removed a very, very important character's cigar in 2014. So the game at that point had been out for 5 years.
Yeah.
This character Graves has been out since the release. and he always had a cigar, and it was part of his character. He was very much like an outback. He kind of like talks with the cigar out of his mouth, so you can like hear it.
Yeah.
And then in 2014, they just like literally like up and removed it. They didn't tell anyone. People just like started noticing in game, like his splash art going into games and stuff. He just like randomly didn't have a cigar. And so for 3 years, up until 2017, people like backlash Riot Games like super heavily. Like I don't know why you would remove that. I mean, you say it right when you download the game, like, hey, there's tobacco use, like right on the title screen, but they just like up and removed it, and they got a whole bunch of flack for 3 years, and then in 2017 they actually give it back randomly.
Really?
It's like yeah, so like randomly you're like loading into games, and you see the character with his cigar back, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, balance is restored, right? And now again, a player on the EU West server took a picture of loading into his game recently and uploaded it to Twitter, and Graves doesn't have a cigar again. So Riot Games is like kind of bouncing back and forth on this, like, should we censor tobacco use in the game or not? Which is funny because like I think League of Legends has like a lot of different points that you could censor. Like for another example, there are literal like seductress characters, and recently, like in the last year, they literally just like gave one of them more clothing. They were just like, yeah, like you need more clothing.
You
like,
get
that's
clothes,
fair.
and you get
You're
clothes.
like, that's fair, right? But like for some reason, tobacco use has been something they're like going back and forth on, and at the same time been something that like the community is like really invested in.
Yeah. I know like tobacco itself is like a big thing in censorship too. Like I don't know if they actually did it on the actual like Japanese broadcasts or if this was like somewhere else, right? But I know in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? In the Stardust Crusader arc, the main character Jotaro, right? There's a scene where he's gambling with somebody, right? And he has a cigarette in his mouth because he's a smoker, right? And so in some areas his mouth is blurred, right? So you can't see the cigarette, right? You know, but like, you know, over like here it's not censored at all, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, tobacco like censoring is like a very common censorship thing. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Look at that. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's just one of those gray zones where people just don't know what to do with it. Do you censor it? Do you not? How do you reward or punish
tell
it?
your community? Do you not tell your community?
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be an interesting story to follow.
Yeah. And then yeah, just to like one final question, I guess, to like kind of wrap this topic up.
Yeah.
Do we think that scene will be added back into the PlayStation version at some point?
I don't think so. I doubt it. I doubt Sony will change their opinions.
No, I doubt they'll change their opinions. And honestly, like the company's going through all of this work to take it out or change it, whatever they're doing to it, to censor it. At that point, like they've done the work, right? They're not gonna like go back on it. I think it's just like I think they're hard committing at this point.
I'll be interested to see how they change it up to like cut that out and make the game flow.
Do they cut it out? Do they make it like a very short cutscene so you don't actually like have to play it? Like, what is that going to look like?
Do they change the change the camera angle or something?
Something.
You know, right? Like I wonder if like maybe they'll cut out the mini game, but are you still gonna have like the face in your inventory or
That's
like
what I'm saying,
you know something like that? Right?
Yeah, maybe they'll just like have a cutscene up to it that like really implies it, and then that's it. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think like they're like really serious about it though, so I think like when the changes do come out, I think they're gonna be like drastic. I know I talked about like maybe you just don't have like the playability of the scene and it's actually just a cutscene, but I think even that isn't gonna happen because I mean they're going back and like changing the game and like delayed physical copies, right? Like it sounds like they're making it a really big deal. So I think when it finally does come out, it's going to be very drastically different.
You know what though, I will say this controversy has definitely made me want to check it out though a little
Yeah,
bit.
And-
you know?
and
kind
you
of
know
has.
On that note, I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and I agree. A lot of people didn't hear about the game before the controversy,
Yeah, like I didn't
Like,
know about it until the
right?
controversy.
I didn't know about it either.
No.
So like, you know, all press is good press type of thing. You know,
Yeah.
the controversy. I mean, it's rough for the company to have to go back and change all of that, but at the same time, like everyone's talking about it, right? So I
Yeah.
honestly think in the long run, it benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all the news we have for today, and so now it's on to the fun topic of today. Video games that shaped our childhood / the gamers we are today. I absolutely love this topic. I think this is a great topic
Yeah.
for this is one of like the quintessential questions when you like first meet a gamer, right? It's like, oh, what did you grow up playing? What influenced you? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, would any of you gentlemen like to lead this off?
Eric, go for it. It's all you,
I'm
buddy.
looking for props. I don't know if I have anything with me.
Oh, you want me to start?
They're back. Yeah, go for it. I don't know if you
League
have
of
that.
Legends. No, I'm just kidding.
It's
I
League of
actually
Legends.
didn't start League of Legends until probably 2013, 2014.
Mhm.
So like most of my childhood was actually spent on Minecraft, believe it or not.
Ah, classic,
Um,
classic.
Yeah, so my brother like learned it from a friend like during beta. He
Mhm.
brought it home. He's like, you really have to check this out. He showed my dad. My dad was like super into it. We got it like immediately, and we only had one TV in the living room. So we would set up a table, and one person would play,
Mhm.
and then we would switch out like every
Ah.
half an hour just on like the
Oh.
system. And we played that game for like years. My dad bought us all laptops at one point, and we played like local LAN worlds until like literally like 5 a.m.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like all of
that's
us
fun.
together, like 5
That's really
a.m. Like
fun.
nobody slept. My mom's the only one who slept in the family. She like wakes up the next day and everybody's like sleeping at like 1 p.m. She's like, where'd everybody go? So yeah, so Minecraft was definitely like the big one. And then aside from that, and moving into like some of the other genres, like first-person shooters and stuff, it was actually Unreal Tournament.
Oh, Unreal
Wow.
Tournament's great.
Yeah, so my
Yeah, yeah.
dad was a big fan of that game. And then he like showed it to us, and we played a whole bunch of that too.
I actually,
So those are my games for sure.
yeah, I actually love the soundtrack to the first Unreal Tournament game.
Mm,
Like that, I
and
like
the characters are so cool.
the characters are awesome. Yeah, like I actually have some of that soundtrack like in my like playlist because like I love it that much.
Yeah, it was a great game for sure.
Yeah,
It was really
yeah.
fun. Lots of hours spent on that.
Yeah.
I don't know what my DS is. Yeah, I think my first game was New Super Mario Bros. But I think the game
Okay.
that really shaped me was Pokemon Diamond.
Mm.
Okay.
I got Pokemon Diamond, I think from one of my my brother-in-law's roommates. He just had the game just like lying around. I was like, "What's this game?" And I sort of picked it up. I put it into my DS. He wasn't playing it, so he just kind of like lent it to me. It's like I played through it. I'd play it with my cousins whenever I came down to Windsor. And I think I have like 400 hours in that game.
Wow.
Of just like I just played that game all the time.
Mhm.
And eventually he just gave me the game because he had just forgotten about it.
Mhm.
So that's like the one Pokemon game I've never reset because I've like it's 400 hours on this game that like I think I still have the original team on there maybe.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's like that shaped is like okay, this is what I enjoy, and it got me interested in Pokemon and Nintendo. I think that was the first game I got hooked on. And then for Christmas one year, me and my mom went out shopping at Costco. I think on Christmas Eve, which seems insane. Why would you go shopping Christmas Eve at Costco?
Yeah.
Nuts. Wow, you guys have a death wish.
I think we went out in the morning. I think we went out like first thing in the morning because I think we knew we had to go. And we were just walking down, and they had. I don't remember if we went because they had the Wii's, or we just picked one up because they had the Wii's for like an insane price. So we picked up a Wii, and we picked up. Like came with Wii Sports, and we got
Wii Sports, man.
Wii Play. Was that the other one? Whatever the other bonus game was, and an extra controller, and that was like And it's like the Wii shaped a lot of my life of what I played a lot.
Mhm.
So it's definitely like the connection to Nintendo that's like built. So like, I have a Switch. I have a lot of Nintendo stuff. So I think that was a lot of what built. And then the other thing that like, not necessarily a game, but like it's a game, not a video game. I'm a little Bakugans.
Yeah.
I started collecting them again.
Fair enough.
I play with them a lot whenever I'm fidgeting, but it's like it was a big part of my childhood, and like I just started because money and eBay.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the OG one. So I like
Yeah.
he sits on my desk, and I have a bunch of the new ones that I just like fun to fiddle with, and it's just like it was just my childhood. I grew up with these expanding toys of like creatures. That's like, wow, this is really interesting, and like creative.
Yeah.
So a lot of creatures that you could tame and control.
For sure. Yeah. Well, so for me, I have a little stack over here.
Oh, here we
that-
go.
that,
Here we
uh,
go.
The stack.
that I can go through. I still have a majority of all the stuff that I played growing up. So for starters here, this bad boy right here, Medieval 2. This was the first video game I ever played in my entire life on the PS1. Like the PS1 was my first ever console growing up. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit here, but yeah, no, I absolutely like this is the first game I ever remember. Like my cousin brought this over when they came down to visit, and running around like this. The first level in this game is like a museum, right? And the music is just etched into my mind for all of time. Like literally lives rent free in my mind, basically. Right?
It
Like
exists.
I know where all the secrets are, like everything, right? So that was pretty big for me. I did a lot of my early childhood, like from let's say like I don't know, when I was like 3 or 4 to like at least 7 or 8 was predominantly played on the PS1. I played a lot of Spyro the Dragon too. That was another popular one.
I need to play
I
Spyro.
played.
I haven't yet.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
played Spyro.
Very highly recommend. Highly
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah.
The next one I have here is Time Splitters Future Perfect. This was the first person shooter I ever played, and the first M-rated game that I ever played.
Ooh, the big steps.
Yeah, the big steps, right? Was I a little too young to play it? Maybe a little bit, right? But my dad still let me play it, right? So that was a lot of fun. It's very like arcadey, right? Not too serious, right? But that definitely solidified like the FPS genre as one of my absolute favorites, right? I don't know, like it just it calls back to like a simpler time of first person shooters, right? When it was like get your gun, go shoot through the level and you're done, right? Like you know what I mean? Like just mindless like arcade fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And then I played so much of the multiplayer too with friends when they came over, right? The disco music again lives rent free in my mind. It had a level editor too.
Oh damn.
Like you could make your own custom levels and stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun with that too. Just I love that game to death. I probably clocked at least 200 hours on that game, if not more. Yeah. Next one I got here is the first Ratchet and Clank game.
Oh.
This was awesome. I love, like I said, I grew up playing Spyro a lot too, so I loved platformers, right? And so then just the blend of platformers and like a shooter, right? Was awesome in my mind. It introduced me to the concept of New Game Plus, right? It was the first time I'd ever encountered New Game Plus. Like it completely blew my mind. I'm like, you're telling me I can play this game over again with everything I already have? And it might hold the record. It maybe, I don't know. It would have to be either the original Medieval one or Ratchet and Clank holds the record for the game I've beaten the most times. Because I think if I booted up it and looked at my memory card, I think I've beaten the first Ratchet and Clank game at least 24 times.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it was one of those games where it's like, when you're a kid and you only have like maybe like 5 games or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you just keep replaying. So that's what happened, right? And then eventually I got the ultimate gun, the Rhino gun, and you can just blast
Mhm.
through the game once you have it,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So that was really cool. And then I have two more here. I'm not going to drag on. I could talk about this topic forever, truthfully. Like I had to limit myself to 5 games because
But only 5.
I truthfully could have picked like 10 or 20,
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
Yeah, but then we would be here for like another 3 hours probably.
Next
you know?
week's episode will just be Ethan. And he
Yeah.
will go through his entire library,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
and
Oh.
Eric and I will take a day off.
We'll give Ethan the GoPro. He can just walk around his house.
Don't tempt
us
me,
the
man.
tour?
Don't tempt me. All right, so the next one I have here, Fallout 3.
Oh, I played that game this is actually a game that I played with my dad all the time.
I love Fallout 3. I'll say on record, I'm definitely a Fallout 3 guy over New Vegas guy. Not that there's a problem with New Vegas, right?
I have to finish
But-
New Vegas still.
But Fallout 3 just has a special place in my heart. That was
Fallout 3 was a banger, man.
yeah,
Fallout
that
3
was
was
the
really good.
first RPG like I ever played. Like
Mhm.
with actual stats, leveling up, going first open world RPG that I played.
Yeah.
Like quests, right? Like leveling up your character, right? Like getting new equipment, right? Like I know anybody who's played this game remembers the iconic scene when you step out of the vault and your eyes adjust to the sunlight for the first
Yeah.
time. And it blew my mind as like, I don't know,
Mm.
I forget when I played this for the first. I was probably like 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
But it just blew my mind. I was like, I can go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
there's all of this to explore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that just like how Time Splitters solidified me liking the FPS genre, this solidified RPGs in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was good. And then the last one here, funny enough, talking about this earlier. So this is the Bioshock
Bioshock.
collection right here,
Mhm.
right? But more specifically, Infinite is the game I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
That was the first game I remember when like the story ended, right? I sat there in shock. Like it was the first it was the first game to just blow my mind. Like from a story point of view, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the ending like completely just yeah, like I was in straight shock. I couldn't believe what just happened in front of me, right? Like there's not I can't even name you another game off the top of my head that's done that to me. Like just the ending like yeah, blew me like a game where I wish I could forget it and play it all over again.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like I'm sure we all have those kind of games, but that's like 100% in my mind. Like I wish I could go back and just experience the shock of that ending again.
Yeah, I
you
totally
know.
feel that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Fallout is going back. It's like Fallout 3. I think is like when you think about it, it's like definitely a game that like shaped how I play games.
Mhm.
The first time I played through it with my dad. I watched my dad play it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would sit down, like I'd watch him play it, and then eventually when I got old enough, we switched roles, and I would be playing the game, and he would watch
Mm-hmm.
and like guide me through what I do. I
Mm.
remember the vault where you go into the simulation.
Oh yes, when you find your dad finally.
I just remember that vault, and that vault being like I was really scared because that vault's crazy.
The vault is pretty crazy.
It's like a super
Yeah.
wild vault.
Mm.
And then my favorite gun in video games, my favorite like DLC forever will be Anchorage.
Oh,
Will
Anchorage.
be the
Yeah.
Fallout 3 Anchorage because you get the best 2 items ever in Fallout. You get the Gauss rifle and the Chinese stealth armor.
Oh, dude, but what
And-
about the winterized power armor though that never breaks?
True.
Yeah, that's
the
actually
Gauss
like
rifle's just so good.
the Gauss
so
rifle
good.
is pretty good.
So I think my loadout for a while was the Gauss rifle, probably the winterized power armor,
yeah.
and then the Chinese stealth armor because you can just go invisible
Yep.
and it's
Yep.
free. It's free stealth boys.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I know like a lot of people, like even myself included, when I go back and replay it, like that's the first DLC I go and beat just to get all
Yeah.
the good stuff from it, right?
There's so much good stuff.
Yeah. And then Although it wasn't like the best DLC in the world, the Mothership Zeta DLC was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Getting captured by aliens.
Yeah,
That was pretty dope. The Point Lookout DLC was really cool too.
Which one was Point Lookout?
That's the one. I can't remember if it's Louisiana you go to, but it's the swamp one. It's like a whole new map, whole new map, right? That blew my mind. Wow, as well, right? I don't know, like the DLC for Fallout harkens back to a good day of DLC,
Oh yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
I don't know, I can't really I mean, I guess Witcher 3 and its DLCs, adding those new big areas to go to, right? But DLC ain't like that anymore usually.
No, it's not.
Right? So yeah.
DLC is you got this one thing.
Skyrim DLC was pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was back in the days when it really was you had all these options you could do.
Yeah, there were some Skyrim DLCs where it was wow, I have hours and hours and hours of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Oh,
Oh,
are you guys excited for Starfield?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen enough.
Yeah, that's
to be
true.
excited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't. I need to see more before I'm okay, I'm actually super excited about this game. As of right now, I don't know enough.
Yeah.
To be this game's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm just excited just because it's a new Bethesda RPG, right?
True. True.
So I don't know if it's gonna be the traditional. It'll probably be the traditional buggy Bethesda mess when it comes out, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. Yeah. All right. Well, once again, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. We're going to be here again next Wednesday, same time, 7 p.m. to do it all over again. And until then, game on, stay beautiful. We'll see you then. Cheers.